Hi guys, welcome to Dad to Dan. I'm Dan, and today in this video we're going to have a look through telesales. We're going to have a little look at why we do it, what it differs to sort of face-to-face selling, and this is all going to be coming up next, so stay tuned.
Telesales, as the name suggests, telephone is basically telephone sales, and that's what it is. And you know quite a bit about this because that's what you spend most of your time doing now.
That is, yeah. So just in terms of an expectation, telesales is sitting in an office and making calls. At its fundamental. I'm expected to make about 100 calls a day, which seems a lot. Bear in mind you will generally not speak to people most of the time. If you can call 100 people and speak to 100 people, it'll be very impressive. Yeah. Generally it's about a numbers game. So the aim is to call as many people, and by doing that, give yourself the biggest chance of making a connection or booking a meeting, which is generally what you do within telesales, dependent on what you're selling. If it's more of a fast-moving consumer good, then sometimes you'll look to actually make a sale on that call. We get calls pretty much every day, as I'm sure people at home do.
Yeah. And I think you've got to remember that if you're going into a job, if it says telesales, that you're going to be spending most of your time on the phone. That's what that is. And they often are seen as the sort of entry-level sales jobs because it's a starter point. But don't think that just because your job doesn't say telesales in the job description that you won't never have to pick up the phone and call someone a complete stranger on the phone. It's an essential part of sales. You've still got to use the phone to get hold of customers, make appointments, etc. So it's a pretty fundamental skill to have, and I think the skills you develop by doing a telesales role are. Yeah,
there's a few. I think the first one is being able to handle objections, really, because you get so many more objections on the phone because people are comfortable enough to fire objections at you without seeing your face looking disappointed. Yeah. They don't see your disappointment. They just think, I can just say what I like. I think you really grow in confidence in your sales technique, because if you can sell to somebody who doesn't want to speak to you, it's going to be a walk in the park to sell somebody who wants to speak to you.
So is that like the verbal communication skills?
Yeah. Obviously it's 100% verbal. Obviously, you could be sitting there in your pants or socks, and they wouldn't know. So long as you get across your verbal communication and the pitch and tone of your voice right, you can get some. It can sound like you're the best businessman in the world. And then that's what's really key. And
do you think those skills would help you later on when you start selling person to person?
Yeah, and if you think even bigger, into presentations and stuff. You yourself do big presentations. Verbal communication is really important, and I know visual comes into it when you do face to face, which is changes things, but getting that inflection on important points and keeping that verbal communication going and knowing how to communicate what you want well. That is all learned through this, seemingly hard job, but at the end of the day, it is hard work. But it's you learn the skills you need.
Yeah.
And I suppose it is a job for anyone as well. I've got lots of people who are very shy, who I work with, and as soon as they get on the phone, they're a completely different person.
So you don't necessarily have to be an extrovert.
Not at all. You can be whoever you want to be on the phone. That's what's so brilliant about it.
Yeah. So it's probably a good point for people, getting into sales who want to try it out a bit, see if they like the environment and like the sort of process. That telesales might be quite more of a comfortable way of doing it, perhaps.
Yeah, it's a great way to build confidence. Although it breaks your confidence every single day, but if you can keep going at that and slug away, as soon as you get either promoted or move on to another sales role where it is to face, God, you'll be smashing it, because you've had that experience there. So give it a go. I can't see many people doing it for their entire career. It's hard work, but it's a great starting point.